Hey y'all, welcome back to the kitchen. I have my gloves on and I got my mic on today because we are getting ready to make some bread. I've already pre-measured out some things. I'm trying to do this step by step so that we can, share and make some bread. But if you do not follow this recipe to the T, you won't be having no bread, okay? Okay, y'all, so I've already measured out my flour. I'm making 2 loaves of bread, so you're gonna need 6 cups of flour, okay? And then 2 cups of water, hot water. So with the hot water, you wanna make sure that it is hot. Not crazy hot, but not too hot that you burn up your yeast because you have to activate it. So I'm using active dry yeast. You're going to need a tablespoon and a half of yeast. I'm going to use a fork for this, but you're going to need to make sure that you stir once you add some sugar into this as well. The sugar is what's going to help activate this yeast in the hot water. So here's the 1 tablespoon. Okay. And the half. Okay. And you're going to need sugar. This is 1/3 cup of sugar. And then you're just going to mix this around until the sugar dissolves. Okay. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Let me show you up here. All right. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that this activates, which means you got to leave it alone and let it activate. The yeast will bubble. Okay. When you start to see it bubbling, then you can begin to go ahead and make your bread. All right, we're gonna let that sit for a little bit, just so you can see it before, and then you'll be able to see it after. Okay, y'all, so that yeast is gonna take a little minute to process. I would say probably somewhere roughly between 5 to 15 minutes. It just depends on what it wants to do, but do not use it until you see active bubbles, and that means it's ready to go. If not, like I said, you ain't getting no bread. Another thing too, once you are done with your dough, it needs to sit for an hour to rise. So what I did is I preheated my oven. I did that probably like 30 minutes ago. I didn't preheat it all the way. I just turned it on and then I turned it off. Just so I can have a warm place, because we have AC in our home, so it's not the way it's not hot in here. It's cold in here. So we want to make sure that it's in a warm environment for that yeast to process in the dough and also rise our dough. So I'm going to park it in there once we're done, and then I'll show you what that looks like. All right, y'all, so you see the yeast is already activated. Look at that. Let me zoom in so I don't have to keep moving, you guys. There it is, it's activated. So what you want to do to your 6 cup of flour is you need to add salt. So I put 1.5 teaspoons of salt in here, and then I have a 1/4 cup of oil. I'm using extra virgin olive oil. Make sure you get all of that. You can use whatever oil you want. If you use grapeseed, you can do that. If you use vegetable oil, you can do that too. Most breads, I think, commercially are made with vegetable oil, so it's really up to you what you like. You don't have to use this. You can use whatever oil you please. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and add in this beautiful yeast mixture to our flour. And then we're going to begin to knead this. I'm going to start off with this fork first. Kind of reminds me of making dumpling. Let's go. Move it over so you can see. We'll just rest right here. It's a little bit better for you. I'm telling you, this new tripod, well, I won't say new, it's new to the kitchen because I always use my little one, but I broke it. This one gives a little bit more aerial view, so I may have to get another one of these for the kitchen. All right, so when it gets to this consistency here, you got to start working with your hands because the fork ain't gonna cut it, y'all. So you just start messing around, folding it. Just like that. You guys saw from my snippet, this bread takes a lot of kneading, y'all. You gotta have some good wrist muscles. Wrist muscles. Or muscles, as some people say. A little elbow grease for this here. You can't, this is not for the weak-hearted if your hands are weak. All right, we're gonna take this out of here because we need to work it. Okay, I have my cutting board. I'm gonna use the metal side here. I don't know how good this is gonna help me today, but we're gonna work with it. And we're gonna work the dough. You're gonna need this for about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. You need to work with it though. It's tacky, it's sticky. If you need a little bit of flour, you can sprinkle some on here. I did do a light dust up here, but you gotta work the dough. I'm between the kitchen and the garden today, y'all, so I got my gloves on. Protect my hands today. I left a little bit of flour out just for dusting. But you don't need to add any more flour to this recipe. Just work with what you got, y'all. And have some patience with this kneading because you really gotta work that yeast and salt and all that stuff into the dough. Because if not, you won't be satisfied with how this turns out. The more kneading you do, the more it'll come together. Just be patient with the process. y'all. Ooh. Once you are done kneading your dough, you should have a perfect little ball, just like this. Now what we're gonna do with that is use our same bowl here. And we're gonna put a little olive oil on it, rub it around. Okay? Just like that. Isn't that beautiful? All right, we're gonna sit that right in this bowl to rest. We're gonna cover it up. And like I said, I already prepared my oven to be a warm space. It is not on to bake, but it is to help this rise. So I'm gonna cover it up. Just like this. And I'm gonna just tuck it away in my oven. All right, y'all, now that dough is gonna rise for about an hour. So I'm gonna put my timer on. And in an hour, I will pull it out and then we'll see what that dough looks like. All right, y'all, I tied it up a little bit in here and I take off my mic and all those things. So dough reveal time. Ooh, there they are. All right, y'all, so in the oven they're going. Let me set my timer. Let me get them in here. Let me get my, so I'm burning my hand. Gonna put those little cuties in there. Loaf number 1. Ooh. And loaf number 2. On the oven, y'all. Let's put this in here right here so I can get my hands free. 30 minutes. Alright, let's set that timer. $30 minutes, y'all. Yay! Fresh out the oven. Look at that, y'all.
Another successful loaf of bread. Well, loaves of bread. Aren't they beautiful? Thank y'all for joining me in the kitchen.